Another guy was Tom Preston Giacomo. Giacomo, who is, there he is. Giacomo's been an FM100 in Memphis for 26 years. When John did this CD, I had people calling me that I had long forgotten about, frankly. Say, you know, that's what got me into radio. You know, this and that, the other thing. And I really, seriously, I never really realized the power and the way these radio stations operated to influence people to get them into a career. So we get Bill over to Wacky, and the rest, I guess, is history. For the past 25 years, my wife Fran and I have lived in Danville, down here in Lexington, and people are always coming up and asking about Wacky and the jocks. We were out to the Cracker Barrel the other day with our daughter-in-law, had this Wacky shirt on, and people come up and wanted to buy it from her. She said, what's about this shirt? And I said, they just want to see you without a shirt, I guess. But it went on, and it was a great, great run. That's all I can say. It was absolutely fabulous. And Bill Bailey here was a guy that actually, he helped so many careers in this room. When you really stop and think about it.
Yeah.
Joe Elliott, God, Tom Dooley, look at Tom, gee. On and on and on. And you know, when these people would ask me about Wacky, they'd usually say, oh yeah, tell me about Dude Walker, tell me about the Weird Beard, about Mason Dixon. They usually mention John's name. But I can't think of a time when they did not say Bill Bailey. Everybody asked about Bill Bailey over the years. And I remember going through a rating book when the ratings came out. Bill was #1 in teens, #1 in men and women 18 to 24, #1 in men and women 25 to 34, 35 to 49.
Rub it in, John.
I know. And do you know that he was #1 from the cradle to the grave? And that's a true story, and I don't think that's ever been done before, and for sure it'll never be done again. I have to thank Don Myers, our general manager, for giving us a lot of rope. Thank goodness we didn't hang ourselves. And I always appreciate Tim Tyler going off the air so that I can get the job at Wacky. But no one has really ever accomplished in Louisville radio what Bill Bailey has done. I mean, it's just, it's hands down. There's no way to describe it. And for me to stand up here and say, Bill, thank you for all you've done for my career and all our careers, just seems woefully inadequate, because I don't know what else to say. But I got this trophy for you. And this is unanimous.
Read the label.
Read the label.
Oh my God.
I can't even read the label. Old eyes.
Bill Bailey.
Here we go.
Bill Bailey's old-time greatest disc jockey.
That's right!
Yeah!
There you are, Bill. God bless you.
Please. And a free t-shirt.
Bill, a free t-shirt.
It's got to be the 7th caller.
Trust the guy that wears the two-sided t-shirt. Oh, and by the way, Bill, we took up a collection to buy your Jaguar. But this is all
You're welcome, Bill.
Speech.
Speech. Speech.
All right.
I'll give you a speech. You want a speech? Come here. How about two of them? Hey, I don't deserve all this praise.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
That's my wife there.
Well.
What are you doing? Oh, God. I tell you, you're making me.
You know why you can do that? Because you're the Duke of Louisville.
Yes, sir.
I'm not quite as harsh as you thought I was.
Is there anybody that would like to say something about the Duke of Louisville? With a microphone in your hand. Come on, you guys. Mason Lee Dixon.
This day is called the Feast of Bowen. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when the day is named and rouse him at the name of Bowen. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Bowen's. Then will he strip his sleeves and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Bowen's Day.
Drag that drunk out of here.
Yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did this day. And then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Bailey the Duke, Chris Lundy, Johnny Randolph, Gary Burbank, and Dude Walker, Weird Beard, and Mason Lee Dixon, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Bailey Bowen shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered.
Oh, my God.
Woo! Yeah.
We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in the Jefferson County, now abed, shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, while any speaks that fought with us upon St. Bowen's Day.
All right. You gotta put either the cane or the booze down. Bill, hold my drink and I just hold it.
I don't have one. This is just about 45 seconds worth. I was telling you when I sat a while ago that all the jocks in this room could work at any market in this country and be number one. I've never run into so much talent at one time that went through WAKY. It's I bump into people all over the country that know our station, and rightly so. But of all the jocks that could work in any market in this country, I don't think there's anybody better than Bill Davis.
That's right.
Amen.
Running a lot of people with great pipes and good feelings and a lot of talent, but there was something just nicely naughty about Bill, you know. He could come on there and almost swear and you'd like it. The preacher would say that's good stuff. Bill, it's so good to see you, and the recognition is a long time coming, but it couldn't be more deserved. Thank you.
All right, John.
I just wanted to say, I'm Dude Walker, by the way. I wanted to say that Don Myers, one of the things I respected about him is he didn't interfere with Johnny Randolph when Randolph ran the station. And of course, Johnny Randolph is probably the best program director in the country as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, sir.
My time in WAKY was a great time, and I have one story I want to tell about Bill. I was at Long Run one day playing golf, got to the third hole, and this guy said, I know who you are. And I said, who's that? He said, you're Dude Walker. I said, how you know that? He said, I recognize your voice. He said, you sorry son of a... That's what are you talking about? He says, I listened to Bailey. I know what he said. I said, well, what did he say? He said, well, you've been out to Louisville Downs gambling all your money away, and your kid's not going to have a Christmas. And if people would just bring some peaches or cans of corn by, it'd be so great. So I said, you're kidding me. He says, no. So I get in the car and I drive down to Wacky. I don't know who got the peaches and the cans of corn, they weren't there. But I peek around the corner and Bailey sees me and he says, folks, remember the things I've been telling you about, dude? It's all a lie. It's not outside the window. It's not that happy. I just want to share one thing. When Randolph became program director, we went to Coons' Dutchman at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I can't hold liquor very well. That's why I don't drink. But anyhow, that particular morning they got me drunk. So when we met with Don Myers, I got up, and because they'd all prodded me into doing it, they got me drunk. I got up and mentioned that Johnny should be the program director. Well, that didn't make a lot of difference, but when Burbank got up and says, I agree, he should be program director, Johnny Randolph became the program director. But anyhow, Wakey's the greatest place I ever worked, and I've worked at some great places. And I just want to say that, to me, Bill Bailey is the best disc jockey I've ever heard, and Johnny Randolph and Bill Crisp are two of the finest program directors I've ever worked for.
Amen.
Here, here.
All right, all right. Oh, no.
The man, the real Tom.
Hey, my name's Tom, and I worked at Wacky a couple of times. And Bill Bailey is one of a kind. Typical Bill Bailey humor. He would always, the thing about Bailey, I still talk about him to people that don't even know him or have never heard of Wacky. When I talk about radio and I talk about disc jockeys, I always talk about Bill Bailey, and I tell stories about Bill Bailey because Bill was never, he never had a shtick. He was just Bill. It was like taking a ride in the backseat of a Louisville taxi and he's your driver. And whatever came through Bill's head came out of his mouth. It didn't matter what he was going through, even a divorce. He would live it on the radio, right? I remember, I was very rarely ever at the station at early morning, but I remember one morning, I was in trouble or something. Don called me in, cussed me out about something. I don't know what it was. And Bailey was standing on his chair in the studio, ranting and raving about his divorce or something was going on. And I thought, you know, we're going to put him on television. If you were a jock today at radio, Rush Limbaugh wouldn't have a chance because you'd have the greatest ditto cam going. The Yankees just a watch they were on the air. And I heard he was not doing well, so I came to Louisville to visit him. And typical Bailey, the humor. You know, some people are funny, they tell jokes. But with Bill, it was always just this humorous heart. And I'm sitting there, we're talking in the home just a few weeks ago, and he was talking about a stroke he had, and that he had some kind of seizure, he went unconscious, and they had to take him to the hospital, and he said, yeah, Tom, when I woke up, I looked up, that's my Bill Bailey imitation, and I saw the face of my daughter and one of my ex-wives. I said, really, Bill, one of your ex-wives came to the hospital? He said, yeah. I said, well, how did you feel about that? I mean, did you miss her? Yeah, I missed her, Tom. But then I got a new scope for my rifle. I won't miss her again. just right there, you know. And I mean, most of us would have to work hard and read comic books and to get jokes to say on there. With Bailey, it just came. He would say stuff like, you know, my wife. He told me that my wife was such a bad cook that. A swarm of flies got together in the neighborhood just to fix the screen door. No disc jockey in contemporary radio ever sounded like Bill, ever said the things that Bill said on the radio. And he's a natural. When God made Bill, he broke the mold. There'll never be anybody else like Bill Bailey. And brother, you are the Duke of Louisville. It's great to be here with you. God bless you. Love you.
Amen.